Saludos mi gente, bienvenidos al episodio número 113 de la dimensión que nosotros llamamos Sports Are Us Podcast. Les habla Charlie y conmigo para el episodio de hoy tenemos un invitado que es parte de los Vaqueros de Bayamón, ¿verdad? Y ha sido parte por las últimas 3 temporadas. Pero antes de presentar a este jugador, quiero mencionarle, ¿verdad? Y les recuerdo que nos puedes conseguir en Spotify, Apple Podcast, Teacher, iHeartRadio y Spreaker. Y de igual manera, si quieres conseguir nuestro contenido en estos videos, puedes conseguirlo a través de la página de YouTube. Este jugador que vamos a estar presentando en el día de hoy, que tenemos con nosotros en el día de hoy, acaba de finalizar la temporada del Baloncesto Superior Nacional del 2022 con un campeonato con los Vaqueros de Bayamón y el cual aportó en grande, ¿verdad? Y eso lo estaremos hablando un poquito más adelante. Y pues quiero hablar un poquito de este jugador en base a cuál fue su trayectoria durante su universidad, cuál fue la trayectoria en el proceso de él durante su desarrollo como profesional y ahora, ¿verdad? Lo que ha sido sus pasadas temporadas. Así que sin más preámbulo, quiero presentar a Kristian Doolittle. Kristian, what's going on, my man?
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, thank you for accepting my invitation. And Kristian, we do have a little tradition in our podcast for every new person that comes in, and it's we normally ask this person that comes in for the first time to our podcast what's their favorite team, and obviously it depends on what sport we're going to be talking about. If we're going to be talking about baseball, it's a baseball team, basketball team. So growing up, did Kristian Doolittle have a favorite NBA basketball team?
I guess I could say the Thunder, but that's just because whenever they first came to Oklahoma City, I was in middle school, maybe late elementary. So being that the only team close, I've always gone for the Thunder.
Okay. And how did the basketball come into Kristian Doolittle's life?
It came through having an older brother, and so every sport that he played, I played, and so the foundation of sports has always been there. And then I started off playing football, tackle football, and then I decided in high school I wanted to just play basketball, and it's been that way ever since.
Okay. You grew up in Oklahoma, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and how was your recruitment process coming out of high school? Did you have a lot of scholarship offers, or how was that?
I mean, I would say that I did. I committed to the University of Oklahoma when I was a sophomore, so that was before my recruitment process even really jump started. That was before I committed, before I even played in any national tournament or the AAU scene. I hadn't really did what I eventually ended up doing, because I committed when I was at a young age. But with Oklahoma, I felt like I committed early because everything felt right. The situation was a good fit for my family, close to home. The coaching staff was everything as advertised. I don't have any regrets in doing so.
Okay. And how was that experience in college? You mentioned that you had a good experience. It was as advertised, but as far as just your development as a basketball player in Oklahoma, how was that?
It was pretty good. I've always had good coaches who have taken the time to help me improve. They've sat me down and asked me what I wanted to improve at, and then we come up with a workout plan, or have certain ways to chart the progress that you make. And so as the summers went along, I've always been trying to work on something new to help well round my game. And I feel like my 4 years at Oklahoma really put me in a situation to where I am now, to where I feel like I can do a little bit of everything.
Okay. I definitely you can do a little bit of everything. I can say that for a fact. Well, and a lot of people in Puerto Rico don't know this, right? But you played with Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks in college. I understand it also while you were growing up in the Oklahoma basketball scene. How was playing with this type of player?
It was nothing new to me. I've known Trae since I was about 6 or 7 years old, and especially within Oklahoma, all the top players always played on the same team. So his dad used to be my little league coach when I was in elementary school. And no matter what team we were on, we would always be on the same team. It wasn't until high school to where we started playing against each other. So, knowing somebody like that for a long time, it was nothing really extraordinary for me. Obviously, he's a great player, but I've known Trae, so it's like it was second nature for me.
Okay, I got you. And moving on to your transition from the NCAA to BCN, you get recruited or you get signed to play BCN straight out of college. How was that experience like? Like how did it happen? How did you come to Puerto Rico from the NCAA?
COVID. COVID happened, and so it derailed everything. And I was fresh out of college. I had been living in Vegas for three months, working out. It was just getting to the point where the workouts were getting repetitive. I had just been in that grind for too long, and the opportunity presented itself to where I'll be able to go play, in the bubble, the BSN bubble, and so I took the opportunity, and I feel like I made a really good decision by doing that.
Definitely. Did you have an agent? Did this go through the signature to come to Puerto Rico? Was it through your agent? Was it somebody contacting you from the team to you directly? How did that go?
Oh no, it was my agent had informed me that the Vaqueros had reached out to him and asked me if I was interested in coming to play, and then with just a short negotiation period, and then I was soon on that first flight out there to Puerto Rico.
Okay, so Kristian, how was the transition from the NCAA basketball to the BSN basketball and playing in a professional league officially?
It was different, with all new levels of with competition. You got to adjust to the physicality. You're no longer playing against the oldest person you might play against is 23, but now you're playing against grown men, and it being at the time I was 22 years old going against people 10 years 11 years older than me. You got to get in, you got to be mentally strong going against vets, trying to find your way, trying to find ways to just help in any way, having confidence within yourself, being around a lot of new people, not knowing anybody. It's a transition that I feel isn't very easy, but I think I made it as smooth as one can make it.
Definitely. I think you excel starting the season the way that, or starting that season in 2020 with pretty decent numbers. Honestly, a lot of people were expecting a player that maybe scored 25, 30 points. That's what usually BCN fans like to see in their import players. But I really immediately saw the impact that you have, and I'm going to show the people that are looking in YouTube your numbers and your stats so they can go ahead and see them, right? And you started your first season, your rookie year. You played because of the bubble. You played 8 games in the regular season, and you finished with 11 points. You average 7 rebounds per game and also 1 assist per game. So you definitely, put some numbers there. Coming into the second season, obviously, the Vaqueros de Bayamón were very successful in that bubble championship team that year. You transition to the second season where you are exposed to the island itself, exposed to the different courts, the fanfare. How did you feel coming into that second season?
I was very confident. I knew that we would have one of the best teams coming back. Having the core of the team re-sign after winning the championship. I know a lot of people have signed 2-year deals. So I feel like it was important for us to keep the team intact, and knowing that we were coming off a lot of momentum from winning the championship, and so we had every intention of repeating. For myself, I was more confident. I was also a little more comfortable getting those, those first year jitters out of the way, and then not only getting the jitters away, but also showing that I can contribute in a large way, and then having conversations with management, and the coaching staff, and the confidence that they were instilling in me, and how they told me how tell me how I can do a lot of good things, how I'm progressing nicely, how my work ethic is this and that. I'm saying I'm just on the right track, and I just wanted to put it all together that second year.
You definitely had a great season, and I don't know if you know this, but I am a Vaquero de Bayamón's fan. I've
Okay.
been all my life a Bayamón Vaquero fan. A lot of people make fun of me because I'm supposed to be in the press, right? And you can't be rooting for teams and things like that. But I don't hide it. I don't hide it. I don't. That's my team, and that's how we roll. And I'm a huge fan of yours. I think that you contribute so much. And, I've always in the podcast been saying, like, the day that he isn't in the team, you guys will feel his absence. And that's what happened early in the season in this year where, we didn't have you. And it was like, okay, you can see what was going on, and people kind of understood, like, okay, we get it now. But how was that experience of winning that championship in 2020? It was a weird year because it was in the bubble. You couldn't be exposed to the island itself. It was you and your teammates and basically the rest of the league members that were in there. But how was that?
It wasn't bad because it wasn't as bad for me because I also did the G League bubble as well. So, being isolated, being secluded with only your teammates, I kind of had a practice run to it. So, the being away and being in that situation didn't necessarily bother me at all.
Okay. If I may ask you, you've started to get exposed to different leagues. You played in the NCAA. You've been exposed to the G League. You've been exposed to the BSN. You've played it overseas also. What would you consider? What's been your toughest league so far in your professional career, or just in your career in general?
I would say my first time going, overseas to Israel was tough, but I wouldn't say that it was the league itself. It was, the travel, being 8 hours ahead, talking to your friends and your family, missing out on a lot of things, the grind, the different game schedules than what I've been accustomed to. So it was just all brand new, and not having any previous knowledge of what it would be like. It was all a learning curve for me, learning as I went. And a situation like that, it can be tough, but no. But Israel was great though. The league is great, the place is great. But I would definitely say handling the travel, living in a completely different country is not easy. But I made the most of it.
I can only imagine the transition for you and the culture shock from coming from Oklahoma and transitioning all the way to Israel. I've been in Oklahoma, and I've never been in Israel, but I've been in Oklahoma, so I can only imagine the transition process from one to the other. So I can only imagine the culture shock. Kristian, coming back to the BCN, you've had one coach your entire career there, your 3 seasons. It's been Nelson Colon. How impactful has he been for your career and your development as a professional athlete and just a basketball player in general?
I would say he's played a huge part in that. It's not common to see or to interact with coaches who are as genuine as I say the coaching staff for the Vaqueros has been. Not only Nelson, but Camacho and Luis as well. Everyone genuinely wants everyone to succeed. Nelson is a coach who preaches sacrifice. I feel like we wouldn't have won the championship if we didn't sacrifice as a group. I feel like we have a lot of players. If they were to go to other teams, they would be the best player on the team. But to make our team work, we all had to sacrifice. Everyone is good. There is no lack in talent at any point or any position. But he always preaches us just focus on the goal. The most important thing is to win. It doesn't matter who does what. He's always been preaching, putting the team first, and that's the type of player that I've always been. And so I feel like the transition to playing for him and the team was very easy. He's always encouraging everybody, to shoot with confidence, even if you're messing up. Just play hard. And I feel like my teammates and myself respect them a lot for that, because regardless of the situation, whether we're doing good or we're doing bad, the message never changed.
Very good, very good. And let's go into this season, 2022. You don't start the season with the team. You're playing in Israel. You transition coming to Puerto Rico during the season. The team was doing pretty good. There was a lot of deficiencies that you were definitely going to help us out, especially the defensive side. Rebounding, my God, rebounding. You came up huge in rebounding with the team. What was your experience in this 2022 season, especially coming out of the disappointment of 2021, where the team started 15-0, the injuries started to come by. First, Mojica gets hurt, then Angel gets hurt, and the season basically, ends abruptly with the elimination of 6 games in Guaynabo. Coming into the 22 season, how did you feel coming in and seeing how the team had been playing without you?
To be honest, I didn't really know how the team was doing. I had a couple of my teammates reach out to me and ask me how I was doing, ask me if I was healthy, if I would be interested in playing. I told them I would. I feel good. I'll be more than open to coming down and playing. I was after losing to Guaynabo. It was a bad taste in my mouth, especially because when Angel went down, I had assumed a lot of responsibilities left by him. And I was more than open to the challenge, because as a competitor, I want to push myself to the limit. Unfortunately, that not only did I come up short, but the team did as well. And so I use that as motivation in my workout and my training. I don't take failure very well, but I don't let it derail me. I use it as fuel to the fire. So when I came back, it was unfinished business, because like I said, I felt like we were supposed to win the championship last year and this year. And so, I just took that in terms of to not want to fail again.
I hear you definitely. And you had a great final series coming into against this San Germán team, and you had a great matchup with Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Talk to us about that matchup. How did you feel coming into the series? The series is 0-0. What was your mindset? What was your preparation coming into the series playing against this dude?
And my mindset going in is to not be discouraged. You going against a high volume shooter. There's going to be some shots to where you feel like even when you did as much as you can do, you can play as good a defense as you can. But if the ball goes in, the ball goes in. And there were some times where he made some tough shots. He's always on attack mode, but that's what he's been for his team the entire season. I knew for a fact that where if I was to be able to, prevent him from having the same numbers in the way that he was getting them against Arecibo, then we would have a really good chance of winning the series. And so I took that matchup one-on-one. Whenever we're watching film, I'm telling my teammates, don't help. Let me take the challenge one-on-one. And I feel like I've garnered enough respect from my teammates to where they trust me in that aspect. And as the series began to go down, go more games, you can see that the fatigue was starting to kick in. The physicality was starting to kick in. And so I felt like I was able to do my part.
Was that part of the plan? Was the physicality that you came out swinging? That first game in Bayamón, you came out firing shots and also attacking him directly. You were taking the ball to his chest, making him work on the defensive end. You obviously kept a high level in the defensive end, and you were bumping him. I kind of saw that. You were really being very physical with him. Was that part of the game plan of the team or yourself coming into the series?
I wouldn't necessarily say that was a game plan of the team. I feel like most of that was just in the happening of the game. But, towards the end, those last 2 games, primarily we made it a focus not only to bump and hit him, but to bump and hit everybody. They were making it hard for us to catch the ball we wanted to on offense. They were bumping us all over the place. We were turning the ball over, which caused us to lose those 2 games to lose 2 games to San Herman. And so, it was just it was a mentality that we're not going to get bumped around anymore. But, what I'm saying, we got to, if we do this one little thing, then we feel like it could put us in a position to where we won't lose another game. But, for my matchup personally, I'm physically blessed to where I'm bigger than most people who I go against. And so I'm able to use my physique to my advantage, to be able to get to my spot. And so,
Yeah, it was notable, and I kind of told the people that follows our podcast, I was like, the game, I could see you taking a toll on him physically, even though he was making baskets and everything else and looking pretty good in offense. I kind of thought his language, especially after the second half in the game 3 in Bayamón. The second half, they went downhill fast, and it was all energy after that. And they had a little bit of a bump up because of the situation in game 4 with the court, where the game was supposed to be on Sunday. It got moved to Tuesday because of the court, where they had extra days of rest. And you could see that, especially in the second half, where he went crazy and hit some very crazy shots, even though you were playing great defense. Yeah. But I picked you guys to win in 5, and I was counting. Prior to the series starting, I kind of knew, because of how deep you guys were and the bodies you guys could throw at him, I was like, you guys are going to wear him down. And that was kind of what I saw in the series. Unfortunately, the series got extended to 6 games. And I think that a lot of the things that happened in that 4th game kind of influenced the decision or their ability to pull off that 4th game, even though that was a horrible game for you guys. 18 turnovers were crazy. But you guys kind of cleaned it up and you took care of business in game 5, game 6. I want to tell you something, and this is something that I need to come. I've already said it a couple of times, but this is me. But I think that you should have been picked the MVP of the series because of first of all, your numbers. Your numbers were crazy good in the series. You led the team in rebounds. You were second in assists. Just Angel only had more assists than you in the team, and you were the second leading scorer of the team also. And you had the responsibility of playing defending the best player in the other team. Did you feel or that you earned that MVP, or that you deserved that MVP? Maybe.
Whether I think I deserved it, or if I think I should have won it, unfortunately, it's not up to me. It's not up to anybody besides the league. Unfortunately, of course, I would have loved to win the award, but the most important thing for me is for us to win as a team. I've never been one for personal accolades. I mean, it would have been a great thing. Obviously, I would have been ecstatic to win it. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. But I mean, it went to Mojica. Obviously, he was really good for us as well. He was the leading scorer for us, and so I couldn't be more happy for him. At that moment in time, I had. In the heat of the moment, I kind of let it get to my head that I was about to win it, and so when I didn't win, it was heartbreaking for me. I'm not gonna lie to it, because I had in my mind, I had already told myself that I was going to win, and so I didn't really know how to handle that situation. I've never been in that before, and I kind of shut down that first day afterwards. But after I talked to my mom, I talked to my dad about it. They calmed me down, and so I'm good now.
Yeah, I went on a little rant after that on a video, not trying to diss Mojica. He's actually my favorite player of all time in the BCN, so I had mad respect for him. But I did think the league did a disservice to you. You're a 24-year-old young man that's growing. You're building up your professional resume right now, and it's kind of crazy that that you didn't get the notch over him. That would have meant so much for you and for your career, just to put it in your resume, because I know that you're looking for further contracts in the exterior, and this is your livelihood, right? You live playing basketball, so I get it. I get the frustration. I think that a lot of the fans in Bayamón also felt bad even though they were happy with the championship, that's the most important part of it. But just I understood where you were coming from, and I just went on a rant. I did a video of this, and I sent the video to you. It's in Spanish though, but it was like, man, what's going on here? Why is this? I knew what it meant to you, so I'm just sorry that you didn't get the vote, but hey, it is what it is. Like you mentioned, you don't pick yourself, right? It's up to other people, so I understand. We miss you, man. We miss you in the celebration. I was there for the night after the game, and then in the bigger celebration where they went all over the town in Bayamón. That was a few days ago, or I think I don't know if it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
I think it was 2 days ago.
Yeah, and so it was pretty. What happened with that? Were you going through emotion still, or were you just?
No, I honestly, the very next day after we won the championship, I flew back home because they were supposed to have. Well, the second 2 days after we won the championship, I flew home because we were supposed to have the parade the very next day, but then it got canceled. But I leave for Japan on Saturday, so I'm in a situation where it's like, I mean, I haven't been home in months, and so I need to come back and see my family and get my things in order to be able to fly back again. I have, obligations to where I have to be responsible for to be able to make sure I can make it to my flight on time. So there's a lot of other background things that obviously people don't know about. A lot of people reach out to me like I was, like I'm mad at the world that I didn't win the MVP. I mean, that the MVP thing only lasted that night.
Gotcha.
And plus I drove home back from San Germán. I had my own car, and so I beat the bus there for maybe about an hour 30.
I can imagine that. I can imagine that for sure.
I simply just went home.
Gotcha.
I went home, and when I got there was nobody at the gym. So I just went home. The type of personality I am. I didn't want to have my personal emotions take away from the celebration.
Celebration. Gotcha.
Exactly. Like it wouldn't look right if I'm up there pouting because I didn't win an individual award after we just worked this hard to win the championship. And as the time went along, I realized that, and it helped with the transition of not being upset or like not feeling some type of way about it.
I got you. No, I totally understand that. And Kristian, what's next for you? I heard that you were heading to Japan. Is that right? Are you heading to Japan?
I leave for Japan Saturday morning.
Okay, gotcha. And you're going to be playing there. So, and the expectation of the Vaqueros de Bayamón is to repeat Jacob Wiley and you for the season of the 2023 season. Is that your plans as of right now?
As of now, it is my plans. There's nothing in writing about it, but they were very eager to get us back.
Gotcha.
But I have a great relationship with Pagan and Tyre all the way up to Mr. Molina, the owner. So we have a great understanding. Obviously, it'll depend on because I'm about to be gone for another 10 months. I won't get back until May. So it's kind of the same time frame for when I got done with Israel. Probably come back for the last however many games of the season, depending on when I sign and arrive, and then be able to get ready, get in the swing of things for another playoff push. So, if things go as planned, the business side of things we have to work out. But
I got you.
Yeah. But I'm more always. Bayamón has always been a second home. I always tell them thank you for giving me an opportunity to come play for them and represent not only the team but the city in the best way that I possibly can, and they've welcomed me with open arms.
Totally understand. So, before we leave, Kristian, is there a message that you could send the Bayamón Vaquero fans that have been very supportive through this run, and that you could just send some love to?
Oh yes, of course. I would say Bayamón has some of the best friends in the entire world. Being fortunate enough to play across the world, I know I can say that with confidence. They're always supportive. They reach out to you, reach out to me constantly, give me words of encouragement. Telling me how they believe in me. They're thankful that I came to play for them. They're glad that I'm back. I've always shown me and my family the utmost respect, and for that I'm always grateful.
Oh, so we and on behalf of the Bayamón Vaquero Nation, right? I do appreciate your efforts. You know, we see you, man. You're very important to this team. You've been very important since you got here in 2020, and you know we wish you all the very best on your career and your future plans, right? As in basketball. Keep yourself healthy. Hopefully, we can see you sweating the Vaquero de Bayamón's jersey next season. You're becoming one of my favorite basketball players in the league. I really respect what you do for the team and just the intangibles of the basketball game, man. I really appreciate where you come from and how you play the game well. You play the right way, so I do appreciate that, sir. Thank you for being me. And I'm going to speak now in Spanish before I sign off, so that people can understand and just before we close this. So a las personas que nos están escuchando en el día de hoy o sintonizando a través de nuestra página de YouTube, esta entrevista la vamos a estar sacando en las plataformas de Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio y Spreaker. Pero de igual manera, ¿verdad? Si quieres ver la entrevista con subtítulos, ¿verdad? Porque a lo mejor no eres tan fluido en el inglés, ve a YouTube y en YouTube vamos a tener la entrevista con subtítulos para que otras personas, ¿verdad? Pues lo puedan leer y puedan entender un poquito más de sus contestaciones. Gracias por el apoyo, gracias por el cariño que nos continúan brindando. Mi nombre es Charlie Sports House Podcast. Tenemos a Kristian Doolittle de los Vaqueros de Bayamón y hasta la próxima.